live today. I don't know what's going on. I do know that it's kind of rainy and stormy, and I do know that Twitter was going crazy, so maybe that is the problem. I don't know. But looks like I finally got live. If those of you who got like notification for 110 different videos, I'm sorry about that. I don't know what was going on. But here it is. This is Sunday Comics. This is John's Longbox Sunday Comics. I just want to say a lot of stuff's going on this week. For those of you who uh, are interested, RJ from the Fourth Age, he has Crom the Destroyer live. I'll put a link in the description. I already backed. Crom is his return to low, I almost say low brow, but low fantasy, meaning not a lot of magic, not a lot of craziness, in the vein of Conan. Big fan of RJ. RJ is a great guy, so I don't mind supporting RJ at all. So there we go. The other thing is, I got my Tonic Moles Saving the World issue number 9. It was wonderful. you know, the origin of Octo Girl. I got it and I read it right away. What a great guy he is. So thank you, Tonic Mole. All right, so as per usual, I'm just stalling a little bit till I get some people. So I want to see if I'm talking into the vapors. Some of you might have got chased away by all the difficulties that I had starting out. All right, so what do I got here? This is the Charlton Bullseye. This is number 1. This is a pretty rare comic. It's black and white. Issue 2 and going forward has color, but this was like a rare. This is 1975 and it was $1. So this was like magazine size. So just to compare, this is a regular comic. This is magazine size. So that's why it's $1, and it had a low circulation. So that's why they charge the price. Regular comics were like 20-25 cents at this time. So what is this? This was like an officially unofficial fanzines. So what nonsense does that mean? It means it was pretty much all the people who worked for Charlton and major fans. They got together and they made this, but it wasn't actually a Charlton comic or magazine. So there you go. So that's why this paper is almost like cardboard. It's like very 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 heavy stock. So let's open this up and check it out. I don't know. All right. So what do we got? This cover. We got this wonderful Al Milgrom cover, and we got the Ghost and Captain Atom. So Captain Atom at this point was like kind of gone. He was I don't want to say forgotten, but he didn't really have any comics coming out at the time. That was a Steve Ditko comics. A lot of the early Charlton characters like the Blue Beetle and Captain Atom, for whatever reason they weren't coming out. So this was cool to see. This was like some fan service to see these characters once again. All right, so I just love this. I love this. Definitely hitting all this the Steve Ditko stuff, like with this outer space Doctor Strange stuff over here, Captain Atom. I always liked the character of Captain Atom, but the Captain. For those of you who do not know, DC Comics had a habit of buying up all of these like kind of like canceled comic book company characters. So DC bought the Charlton catalog, and famously Alan Moore used them all to create the Watchmen. So Captain Atom was the proto Doctor Manhattan, Blue Beetle was the proto Night Owl, and things like that. But and then Rorschach was the question with kind of like Steve Ditko's personality a little bit embedded into him. But I digress. So let's just open this up and check it out. Nobody's here yet. Okay, I just see the notification just went out, so maybe people will pop in here. So here we have Bob Layton. Bob Layton is an amazing talent. I mostly know him from Marvel. He did the Iron Man cover. He did Iron Man, not just the covers, but to me he is the quintessential Iron Man artist. I think he's the best Iron Man artist, hands down. And then he did the Hercules series. He wrote and drew those. Just an all around triple threat talent. And this is just like, why did they make this magazine? Here's the Charlton News. So what is this? This is all the print news. Like, let's look at this. So Scary Tales. They're selling the comics. They're telling us about the other comics. Beyond the Grave. The Vengeance Squad. See, a lot of these comics I don't know anything about. Charlton, when I was a kid, okay, we'll close this for a second. When I was a kid, I did see Charlton comics on the newsstands. I remember seeing E-Man specifically in Blue Beetle. That was pretty much it, but I'm sure I saw others. And I didn't like them. I avoided them. Something about them seemed off. Now, nowadays, as an adult, I kind of, obviously I appreciate them. I showcased E-Man a few times. I think I showcased the Blue Beetle. I don't think I've ever showcased any Captain Atom. But nowadays I'm a big fan of Charlton. So but as a kid, there was just something off about him. I guess I was weaned on Marvel. I read Marvel, so anything other than Marvel seemed weird and odd and alien to me, which I don't know, good or for bad, that's just the way I felt. Like I got that feeling again as an early, well, maybe mid teenager when I saw Captain Canuck comics. I bought some Captain Canuck comics. They were dirt cheap in a back issue bin, and they just seemed alien. They just seemed foreign. They just seemed weird, and that's what I got. I got the same feeling from Atlas comics as a kid. The very few Atlas comics that I actually got. Time for my Tim Hortons ad. There's my coffee. So, there you go. Charlton Comics. I wasn't really a big fan as a kid. Again, of course, now I'm kind of fascinated with Atlas and Charlton. See, here we have ads. Not ads, pinups. This advertising for their characters. What does that say? The Fighting Marines. Nova Kane. She's the female sidekick to E-Man. Far left, Colonel White. Shroud presents himself decked out in full bottom gear. So that's Colonel White. The bottom crew Valley of the Dinosaurs, and above Miss Nova Kane, models for her new superhero in costume, Dynamite. And here we have continuing more of advertisements. So we got Midnight Tales, E-Man #9, The Fighting Marines, Haunted Love, and Doomsday +1. This is I think John Byrne, one of John Byrne's early comics, Popeye the Sailor. I never really liked Popeye. So here we have Nicola Cudi or Cutie. I never knew how to pronounce his name. This is an interview with the man who writes E-Man, and he also, I think Mike Mauser, PI. So this is the kind of stuff you don't see anymore. Just long interviews, just so cool. That's why, if those of you who remember the Comic Buyer's Guide and Wizard magazine, and there was another one. I know Alter Ego was another one that had interviews. They were just so much fun. They had long format interviews with comic book creators, writers, artists. It was just so much fun, rather than just a Twitter blurb. See, here we have Countess R.H. von Blood of Scary Tales. This is drawn by Joe Stanton. I really do like Joe Stanton. He has like a very, what's the word? I hate using the word clean as a description, but he has a clean, sharp, non-muddy. I guess clean is the best word. And I just love the way he draws women. He really does. It's like the proportions that he draws women I really like. Okay, this is Colonel Shroud from Monster Hunters. I gotta check that out. I love the whole idea of occult investigators and monster hunters. So that's something I gotta put on my list. Charlton Comics Monster Hunters. How cool is that? Check this out. This is more Joe Stanton artwork. Phenomenal. This is for their scary line of comics. The Haunted Love. Oh, just phenomenal. Look at that. Would you love to have that hanging up? Too Many Ghosts of Dr. Graves. So this is Roger Stern. Oh my God, what can I say about Roger Stern? So this is him talking about his comic, the Many Ghosts of Dr. Graves. I said Haunted Love. I got mixed up because I'm crazy, and I'm worried that if I'm even, if anybody does pop in, let me know if you hear me. I had a lot of difficulty this morning, as opposed to my life, which is always difficult. All right, so Roger Stern. Roger Stern is a comic book workhorse. I'm most familiar with him in Marvel. specifically his Avengers run. Oh my God, did I love Roger Stern's Avengers run? I think, and I'm probably wrong, that he created Nebula. He did that whole run where the Masters of Evil took over the Avengers mansion, and they beat the crap out of Jarvis. And Jarvis showed himself to be, Jarvis is just a regular guy. Just a great classic run. Um, Tom Palmer on inks. Why can't I remember who did? John Buscema and Sal Buscema. Just a great run of comics. Oh my God, you know, look up uh, the Roger Stern of Avengers. So now we have. This was supposed to go in Jones. And Jeff Jones did a lot of he did a lot of work for Eerie and Creepy and a lot of those horror titles. And this is just, I don't know, not the best story in the world. That's probably why it didn't make it into the comic. But what do you want me to say? Uh, it, I, it's these on a desert planet, with dinosaurs, and they're looking for gems, and they fight giant spiders. It's not the best story in the world, and as you can see, the art, I don't think it's completely finished yet. Look at that face. Doesn't it just seem off? But it's charming. Here comes the giant spider. I think it's rough pencils, and the art team never really finished it, or probably because it was going to be sent off to someplace. And what do? They fight the giant spider, and they fight the giant spiders, and they get the gems. So I don't know where they were going to. It seems incomplete. But then again, this is an unofficial comic. So this is Raj 2000, the family album. So what is this? This is them trying to explain the backstory of a new comic. And I think Raj 2001 was John Byrne. It started out as a backup for E-Man, and then it became its full-fledged own comic. I got to check it out because I'm a John Byrne fanatic. So let's look at this. But as you can see, here's the art. So this is 1899 to 1955. This is his family album of all of his ancestors. This is the original. This is Raj 101, the unforgettable Raj 20. Deathwing's Raj 40, the Tin Tommy Raj 45, and the Bunny Robot. You see, there's John Byrne's signature. I got to check this out. I got to look up all of this. It's so cool. And here we go. I love the Blue Beetle. The Blue Beetle, for those of you who do not know, was a Golden Age character. He started out. He was Dan Garrett, and back then, a lot of the Golden Age guys, they had no interest in comic books. They had talent. They wanted to make an advertisement or whatever. And they just, for whatever reason, they couldn't get it or whatever. So they did comics. Not a lot of people at this point were wanted to be in comic books. Like, you kind of just came in. So when they made up characters, they didn't really put their best efforts into it. And enter the Blue Beetle. I don't know who was the original creator of the Blue Beetle, but his name was misspelled in different adventures. His powers were different. He was just all over the place. The only commonality is he had a magic scarab that transferred to him powers. Now, what were those powers? Who knows? Whatever the plot required. At one point, he was like godlike, like the Spectre. At some points, he just had like strength. But he could always fly. And those they were kind of fun because each issue was its own continuity. Like, he had different friends, different jobs, different girls. Sometimes he was married, sometimes he wasn't. It was just like, what is going on? Which I think would be a fun thing to explore if ever you got Blue Beetle. But then Steve Ditko went to Charlton after his famous falling out with Stan Lee, which I talked about many, many times. But when he went to Charlton, he took over Blue Beetle, and he redid him. So now it's Ted Cord, Blue Beetle. And instead of being a mystical powerhouse, he's scientific. So he's a normal human, but he's a genius. And he built a costume, a gun, this flying bug. And, just Steve Ditko's costume designs are phenomenal. Look at that costume. That is one of the greatest superhero costumes ever. He'll go in. I know Steve Ditko's already in the Legendary Hall of Fame, but just look at that costume. Doctor Strange, Spider-Man, Blue Beetle, just some great design. And of course, all of Spider-Man's early villains, just phenomenal designs. So this is a history of the Blue Beetle by Franklin W. Maynard. Now I don't know if that's a made up name or if this is a real person. Hey Jeff, good morning. Good to see you. I was getting worried that there was a problem because I wasn't seeing anybody and I had such a difficult time getting online. So good to see you, Jeff. Thank you. Oh, three people. Cool. For those of you who just got here, we're checking out the Charlton Bullseye, official, unofficial fanzine of Charlton Comics. The second issue's in color, but I wanted, got to start at number one. So we're talking all good. Love the Blue Beetle. Yeah, who doesn't love the Blue Beetle? So when Charlton, went defunct, and DC bought them, they put all of the Charlton characters on. I forget what Earth it is. Earth C, I think. I think that was like their in-universe little joke. Like, uh, I forget. Like the Quality Comics, they were Earth 5. The Charlton characters were Earth C, I think, or Earth 3. I forget. Like, but it doesn't matter. I guess because they kind of forgot about them all. But that was what they did. They just became different planets in the and I like that concept of the multiverse. If I may digress, I like the multiverse in that they're different. If what good is a multiverse when everything is just a mirror image of everything? That's just a get out of jail free card. You killed Superman. Okay, let's pull Superman from another. But if I like the idea of like this vibrations or variations or faucets on a gem or whatever you want of your universe. But each one is different. Why? Because in this universe, the butterfly effect. The butterfly flipped his wings a fraction of a second early. So it's always different. So I liked the DC concept of the multiverse at first. There was Earth 1, there was Earth 2, there was Earth 3, there was Earth S, there was Earth C, whatever the Earths were, but each one was vastly different. So, there was consequences. You couldn't just go to a different universe and pull out whatever character you wanted and change things. Like the Marvel concept of the multiverse, it just drives me nuts. And this modern concept of just, whatever. Rant over. All right, so here we go. Here we go. This is some classic Blue Beetle. This is the Golden Age Blue Beetle fighting the Red Knight. I don't know. I think I might have showcased that. I don't think I have the first appearance of the Blue Beetle, but I have a lot of Golden Age Blue Beetles. Believe it or not, I went into a comic book store, and they were just in a box, and the guy wanted like peanuts for them, and they were in pretty good shape. So I got a huge stack of Golden Age Blue Beetle comics for a song. I gotta say, if you build it, they will come. Meaning, if you always going around and look like I'll go to like collectible stores. I used to look online and I used to find like good deals on comics. I don't know. I think maybe this was also before the movies, so I think nowadays people are a little bit more wiser. I don't know. But here we got the Steve Ditko Blue Beetle. How cool is that? Hey, Arthur Tripp's here. Hey, Arthur, how you doing? My top Charlton book was Captain Atom with Steve. Captain Atom. I love Captain Atom. I love Captain Atom. I got in. I have to say, I first got introduced to Captain Atom with the DC. What was it? Carrie Bates, not Carrie Bates. Who wrote it? Was it Carrie Bates and Pat Broderick? I think so. That was my introduction to Captain Atom. So here we got 4 out of 5 robots read CPL. Okay, CPL. The fifth one sells it. This looks like John Byrne. This is early John Byrne. So remember, John Byrne started out in Charlton Comics. That's why I bought that Wheelie and the Chopper bunch, because that was a first John Byrne's professional work. Okay, from the Top Secrets Bullseye Files. So this is some Charlton characters. Like I love this when they make like fake government dossiers about these characters. So we got the Ghost. His real name is Alec Royce, well-known research scientist genius in the field of solid-state electronics. Rejected as a youth, powers teleportation. Last known whereabouts Sunaria, wherever that is. So the original Captain Atom, it was like a Steve Ditko thing. It was set in a I forget if it's another dimension or if it's in a city that like Metropolis and Gotham City only existed in the Charlton universe, but it was firmly on their Earth. I don't know. But here's Captain Atom. Real name, N. Christopher Adam, Captain U.S. Air Force, child prodigy. He worked in chemistry, graduate of honors. I I didn't particularly like the origin of or the way Captain Atom was treated in his debut comic in DC. He was kind of like blackmailed and tricked into becoming Captain Atom. I don't know. I didn't particularly like that. And here we have this. Oop, orientation is locked. Okay, I can't turn the camera. Nightshade, Deadly Nightshade. She became the Silk Spectre in the Watchmen, and she was like Captain Atom's partner and sidekick for a while, as you can see in the next thing that's coming up. So after what is her name? Nightshade, real name Eve Eden, daughter of Senator Robert Eden. So we have, after 8 years, the action-packed return of Captain Atom, Showdown and Center. So for whatever reason, there hasn't been a Captain Atom comic at 8 years at this point. This comic came out in 1974. So in the late 60s was the or 75. So the late 60s was the last appearance of Captain Atom, and then this was already made and ready to go and ready to be published, but for whatever reason it didn't go out. So they put it into this. So let's look at the credits. Soul and inspiration, Dave Kaler, who I know nothing about. Pencil, Steve Ditko. Script, Jean Michael. So did Dave Kaler create Captain Atom? Arthur Tripp could let me know. I don't know. Inks and lettering, John Byrne. So this was drawn, penciled, but never completed. It sat for years in the Charlton office. And then John Byrne finished it when they decided to publish it. I'm sure he was just like geeking out over working on Steve Ditko pencil. So look at that, classic. It's funny because I could definitely see the John Byrne influence, and I could obviously see the Steve Ditko. I almost want to color it. Take out crayons and color it. So here we have the Ghost, a character that I always liked. I always liked the Ghost. I think they called him the Silver Ghost in the DC, revival series. I think because there was somebody else called the Ghost at the time. I was like, let me do another commercial for my Tim Hortons coffee. Yesterday was Canada Day. For those of you who do not know, my wife is from Canada. She was from Winnipeg. So we went out looking for Moosehead beer, and the beer distributor that said they had it, they didn't have it when we got there. So my wife got something else. She got like a Not Your Father's root beer, which was absolutely horribly disgusting, and I wish it was destroyed. But she liked it, so that's all that matters. But we didn't get the Moosehead. And then we were all ready for 4th of July fireworks. My first year that we moved here, it was like during all the lockdowns and everything like that. And then the 4th of July came. It was amazing. It happened to be a Saturday night, and it everywhere you looked, it was like a private fireworks show. So my wife and I just set up lawn chairs in front of our house. We got a cooler of beer, and we just watched the fireworks. And we got like teary-eyed because it was like a year and a half of living in Queens where nobody was going outside. And if you did go outside, everybody was staring at you. Where's your mask? Yelling at you from your car, like, whatever. I'm walking down the street. Leave me alone. So when we came out here, everybody minded their own business, and they were shooting off fireworks and enjoying life. It was wonderful. Loved it so much. But that's neither here nor there. But so all I'm saying is last night the fireworks were very, very, very disappointing. So maybe, but then again, the 4th of July isn't until Tuesday, so maybe the fireworks will be good on Tuesday. Focus. So just look at this. So the Ghost is talking to this panel of like leaders in Sonara. So this is why I think it's in another dimension. I don't really know. Maybe Arthur Tripp could chime in. And the Ghost is being revered as a god. So they're listening to him, and he's like, I'm using my machinations, and I gotta destroy Captain Atom. So like at and they're just like, why are we wasting our resources and time going after Captain Atom? He's like, no, you always fail. He's like, no, this time I won't fail. I just love that. So far off in New York City. So Sonara, whoever that is. So here he is. He is in the real city. So what can Captain Atom do? What can't Captain Atom do? He was the inspiration for Dr. Manhattan. So he could fly. He's super strong. Atomic blast, rearrange matter. He is just a powerhouse. And this comic's costume is cool, but I love his Golden Age red and gold costume. That is phenomenal. And of course, you can't see the color here because it's black and white. So he's fighting robots that are attacking the city. Captain Atom is just passing through them. He can pass through matter. He can control all molecules. So Captain Atom, he's gonna take out these. So he's acting ghost-like, and just beating them up. He is a powerhouse. He's taking time with these human beings because he wants to take time with these human beings, and I guess he just wants to show off. But here's classic Steve Ditko energy, frenetic movement. Look, Steve. I've never seen anybody pose their characters the way Steve Ditko's. He was perfect for Spider-Man, to the point that I will dare say that if anybody else but Steve Ditko had drawn Spider-Man, I don't think it would have been as successful. You know, he was the launch pad. He was the beginning of Spider-Man. All those crazy flexible poses and everything. I thought it was great. Now here comes Nightshade. She's jumping down and she's gonna clean bat cleanup. At first I thought guy was a clown. Doesn't it kind of look like clowny? But so what does her powers do? Well, she doesn't have any powers. She's just like a female acrobat, supremely trained, but she has the blackout belt. And what does that do? It shoots darkness in your face, and then she beats you up when you're blind. I always love that when superheroes have that power to just blind you and then beat you up when you're blind. So this guy's too far away, so she blinds him. I can't see. And then Captain Atom. I always love this. They have this like atom symbol floating around. I guess he's giving everybody cancer. Here you go. Have some tumors. And he's glowing with radioactive energy, which just causes the robot to power down because he beats all the pilots. And now everybody's flipping around because the robot's collapsing. He's getting a little peekaboo up her dress over here. But it's got to have some benefits being Captain Atom. And he's like, oh no. Oh, that's right. I forgot about this. This is really bizarre. So as the robot is collapsing because they took out all the pilots, she bangs her head. Boom. And he's like, quick. He's like, oh my God. We need emergency. And he teleports. Hang on. Help us on the way. And he's like, what? They vanished. So he goes to, this is why I thought it was in another dimension. So he goes to Sonora, or whatever this name of the city, and there's the ghost, the foe of Captain Atom, and he's like, look, she's hurt, and he starts fighting everybody, and he's like, I'll get you, yeah, and your little dog too, and one of the high priestess, she's like, listen, she's injured. Our warrior's code demands you tend to her. He's like, what? Oh, blast you. So he's trying to keep his tentative control over these people. So they put her into this magic science hospital bed, and they find that she has a fracture in her skull. And they're saying, we could fix that. We could heal bones, no big deal. But if she has brain damage, that's the problem. So, they're putting her in this bone regeneration device and helping her out. Captain Atom is just like wandering around hiding because he doesn't want to interfere with them helping Nightshade. And I just love that panel. They're fighting him, and their heart's not in death to Captain Atom. They just got to do what the ghost says, because I don't know why, but they revere the ghost like a god. And here comes these warrior women. Look at that panel, just all the energy blasts. He just dodges up, and now he's not fighting back. I don't think he realized. I think he realizes that they're not particularly bad people. They just, for whatever the reason, their religion is making them obey the ghost. He's like, find us troops, and she's just like, we had enough of you. You're leading us into down the garden path. I like that. He's just floating, hiding underneath. Look at that panel. It's so cool. They see him. They blasted him. Steve Ditko just really knows how to lay out a panel. Look at this. I wonder if they're finding this as monotonous as I do. I love this like MC Escher kind of like architecture. Here she is. She's still in there, and she's waking up. She screams, "Oh, the success faceless one." That's what they call the ghost, the faceless one. She will survive. So what is he? They that's right. They think he's a re-embodiment of their god because this mask makes him a faceless one. Not too intelligent if you ask me. So he drags her from the form. Like, there you go. So now she's out of danger now. Her critical wounds have been healed. So what does the ghost do? The faceless one do? He drags her, and he's just like, I'm gonna beat her to death in front of you if you don't surrender. Because he's not a good guy. Just if he wants to manipulate these people, he has to adhere to some of their rules. He's like, the ghost is power mad, and all these years in this place has really scrambled his brain. So he goes through the wall and punches him, and that's the end. Next issue, we'll get the conclusion. So I don't have Charlton number 2. I just ordered it. So the Charlton Bullseye number 2. So maybe we'll see the end of this. So here's all of the Charlton comics. This I wanted to look at. Barney and Betty Rubble, Beetle Bailey, Blondie, Dino, Flintstones, Great Gazoo. Wow, look at all these. Hong Kong Phooey, Pebbles and Bam Bam Wheelie. Obviously these are all cartoon inspired. Oh man, I didn't realize they had that. I didn't realize they had this many comics. Popeye, Sergeant Snorkel, Scooby Doo, Speed Buggy, Yogi Bear. They have some legit IPs. So Ghosts, Ghost Manor, Ghost Haunts, Ghostly Tales, Haunted Love, Many Ghosts of Dr. Graves, and Midnight Tales. So these comics were $1.25. Oh, these are subscriptions. Jeez. Romance for lovers only. Guys, how many times did I talk about this, that these romance and model comics were a big deal at this point? I Love You, Just Married, Love and Romance, Love Diary, Secret Romance, Teen Confessions, Adventure, Billy the Kid, Korg, Phantom, Yang, E-Man, Valley of the Dinosaurs, Armed Service, Fighting Army, Fighting Marines. 6-issue subscription. So cool. And here's the back cover. Joe Stanton drawing this woman again. And there you go. That was the Charlton Bullseye. I have again, I said at the beginning, I thought that Charlton comics to me were like odd and weird and alien. So I didn't really get them as a kid. I saw them around. I had a couple of issues of E-Man and Blue Beetle that just disappeared, and even as a kid, I was like, these are bizarre. So there you go. That's the Charlton Bullseye. Anybody have anything? Oh, the artwork reminds me of the mix of, yes, Mr. Kirby and Mr. Wood. Yeah, it kind of reminds me of that. This cover is by Al Milgrom. See, right there. Al Milgrom, 1975. Yeah, and it does. It kind of has like a chameleon effect. Like you could think of so many other people. Like I didn't realize this was Al Milgrom until I saw the name. I did think it was like a Wally Wood art. So there you go. I got nothing else to say, I was hoping there would be more people, but I had difficulty at the beginning going online. So are these regular comic book size? No, I guess you missed it at the beginning, Jeff. So this is a regular comic book, and this is magazine sized. Okay. And just as a comparison, this is $1 for one issue. And we just saw that there was 6-issue subscriptions for $1.25. So this is a big price. Do I have any more of these? I just ordered number 2 from my comic shop. So I that'll come in a week or so. So maybe I'll do another showcase during a regular video, maybe not a Sunday comic. But I got a kick out of this. I've always heard about the Charlton. There was a second series of Charlton Bullseye that are just regular comics. This is the weird fanzine one that's harder to find, more expensive. But there was a regular Charlton Bullseye, and I think that was like reprinting older comics from the 60s. So I got issue number 1 of that, thinking that it was this. So I got that, and I'm like, oh, I didn't realize there was 2 series. So I make mistakes. So anybody else got anything to say before I sign off? I mean, I usually do an hour, but when did Charlton officially go under? Good question. It was around here, so I'm going to say, like, I don't know, like, I think because the other Charlton Bolt, it says 1981, so I think it was like right before the Crisis on Infinite Earth. So this is 75, and the Crisis on Infinite Earth was 84. So in that 9-year period, somewhere in that 9-year period, I don't know the exact date. I'm sure Arthur knows the exact date, but good question. Now I'm going to look it up. I'll put it in the community note, not the community. I'll put it in the description, some information. So, anything else? Anybody? All right. 35 minutes. This is going to be, I guess, my shortest Sunday comics. I got to go to a buddy's house and do some electrical work, which I'm like putting off. Hate doing side work for friends. It never goes well. All right. They always underestimate what they need done. No, it's just you got to fix this, and then you go there, you got to crawl through the attic and everything like that, and it's pouring raining out. It's just gonna be miserable. All right. I'll see you guys tomorrow with another video. Bye bye.